Katy Perry's headed to trial. Kim Kardashian is under fire for how she's dressing her 12-year-old daughter. And Blake Lively's celebrating her birthday this week. All that in a Vanderpump Rules tell-all. Everything from Scandival, Scheana Shea's book, The Valley. We have thoughts about Janet. Lots we'll be getting into. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, August 26th, and yesterday happened to be Blake Lively's 38th birthday. She was celebrating it with her family. So funny that all the press keeps picking up on these feel-good stories about Blake Lively, and the latest one this week is that she's had a very low-key summer, and she celebrated in a very low-key way her 38th birthday with her family. Okay, cool, got it. You know, the devil works hard, but Leslie Sloan works harder. She's out here planting all these stories. I just did Hot Mics with Billy Bush yesterday, and we were talking about how there was that flip of the narrative about how Isabella Ferrer was accusing Justin Baldoni of harassment, and that was like the headline that went everywhere, right? Which obviously wasn't the entire truth, because it wasn't like harassment on the set of It Ends With Us. It was legal harassment, and it was with all the subpoenas that she's clearly been evading. So Blake Lively's PR team, her PR machine, is definitely trying to work very hard. But I think I made a point on Billy Bush, which if you haven't watched Hot Mics yet, yesterday's episode, I was on in the afternoon. I believe Rachel Lindsay was also on the show right after me. But I said, like, sure, you can throw all of these marketing tricks and keep that machine going, but when you're still advertising on billboards, how effective is it going to be when everybody's on their cell phones, right? Like, the attention and where people's focus is no longer in that traditional media venue, you know? Not many people are going to these websites and reading the headlines on websites. Now they're getting their information from Instagram. They're getting their information from TikTok. They're getting their information from X. And so those legacy mainstream media outlets are not really the forefront of news as much as it is people that are content creators, people that are independent journalists, people that can have a unique way of captivating an audience in their videos, be it on YouTube, be it on TikTok, or Instagram Reels, like whatever, or the memes that people are creating, or the like graphics that you can slide through as carousels on Instagram. Whereas like you're gonna go to E-News, and E-News is gonna give you the headline, and they're gonna say click the link in our bio in order to get the story. And so you have to go to their bio, you have to click on the link, then you have to go to the outbound link, and then that link takes you to their website, and then you have to read their article on the website. Whereas it's so much quicker and more convenient when you're on Instagram scrolling, and you know, somebody like me can pop up and give you a 2-minute synopsis. So I feel like that world is becoming obsolete. I think that's why the legacy media world doesn't like to embrace new media. They don't like to embrace creators. And I'm grateful for the ones that do embrace us. Like today, I'm going to be on Fox 5 New York. You may be watching this after Fox 5 has already aired, but I was very grateful to Bianca Peters on Fox 5 New York, who invited me back on this morning to talk about Blake and Baldoni, to talk about Lil Nas. That's a hot mess. Lil Nas getting arrested, and now he's facing felony charges. His attorney's trying to fight against that because he was, I think we discussed this last week, he was spotted walking around in his tiny whities and some cowboy boots and nothing else. Clearly seemed out of it, clearly on some substances. I believe he has kids, no? Does not have any biological kids. But, posting video. Okay. Got it. I thought remember when he posted the photo of him being pregnant, and it was like, oh my God, Lil Nas announces that he's having a baby. Remember he posted with the belly, the pregnant belly? That was him, right? Yeah, he was the one that posted with the belly, the pregnant belly. He did like a whole photo shoot for it, and people were like, oh my gosh, he's pregnant, he's having a baby. And it ended up being his album. See, I was deceived by the marketing. I thought he had children, and so I was like, what, doesn't he have kids walking down the street? But no, he never actually had children. Apparently it was just him being pregnant with his new album. Cute. What a unique marketing hack. But so yeah, he's now facing his felony charges. I believe it's 4 felony charges. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But his attorneys are trying to fight back on that right now. Everybody's like, see, this is why you don't let the demons in. This is why you got to have Jesus. Lil Nas is very blasphemic in a lot of his messaging with his music and his music videos. So they're like, see, like Mary Cosby warned us, Jesus will come for you. I don't know if this is Jesus coming for Lil Nas or just Lil Nas's the consequences of his actions. But here we are. What else? So that was Blake Lively. Katy Perry's testifying today. She's taken the stand in her trial against Carl Westcott, who's the elderly veteran who she's now suing him for $6 million. She already sued him and won his house because he tried to pull back on that sale. I had Cameron Westcott, his daughter-in-law, who you remember from The Real Housewives of Dallas. She was on the show last week. So if you want to catch up on that trial, I've given, I think, 2 episodes now. One where I dove deep into the Katy Perry versus Carl Westcott, and then obviously the interview with Cameron Westcott that aired, I believe it was last Thursday. So you can catch up on that. The trial has officially begun. Katy Perry's testifying today, which also happens to be her daughter's birthday, which is strange. I don't believe Katy's actually at the courthouse. I believe she was going to be testifying virtually. So she was going to be like zooming in, which is weird considering, doesn't she live in Los Angeles? Well, the house she fought was in Montecito. The house she fought for. And now she's fighting for $6 million in damages. And also, to be clear, that's not for Carl Westcott to pay out $6 million in damages. She's claiming that in the time that they were battling this out over who deserves the house, because he's claiming he's elderly and he was like, I was not of sound mind when I made this transaction, when I agreed to sell this house. And she was just like, nah, you signed on the dotted line, period, end of story. It's mine. Gimme, gimme, gimme more. And so he kind of had to forfeit the house because they were in the legal battle over who deserved the house. And the judge ultimately ruled in favor of Katy Perry, saying that, yep, the contract is legit. He signed it. Sorry, it sucks to suck, but the house is hers. And so she's claiming that in that time, the house had significant damage. And that's why she now deserves to get, I guess, a discount on the house. She didn't pay the full, I believe it was $15 million that the house was worth. And so there's $6 million left that she's owed to pay Carl Westcott. And now she's fighting, saying, I don't want to pay him the last $6 million because in the time that he was fighting me in court, now I got to, clean up this mess that he made his house. I don't know how much of a disaster how much $6 million in damages is worth for a run-down house. Even if the weeds were a little overgrown and the pool was green, that's not $6 million worth of damage where you need that heavy of a discount. Maybe if her tour sold a few more tickets, she'd be able to afford that. But she's suing Carl. She's like, I got your house and I don't want to pay full price for it. So we'll see what she has to say. I'll keep you updated tomorrow when we find out what comes out of her testimony, which will be going down today. And Kim Kardashian. Curious what you guys think about this. She's under fire right now for some photos that have surfaced with her and her daughter Northwest. They were shopping out in Italy, and people are not happy with, I guess, North's outfit. Now, when you look at North here, I'll pull the photo up here so that way you can actually see and we can discuss together. But when you look at North, and I didn't realize this in this photo, she's only 12 years old. She's a 12-year-old girl. She's got long blue extensions, clearly not her natural hair because nobody's hair is that long and that healthy and shiny, especially when it's been dyed blue or bleached and then dyed blue. So she's clearly wearing blue extensions, and she's wearing this teeny tiny little ruffle mini skirt, these big long black boots, not necessarily heels, but like platform boots. And then the issue that people really seem to be taken with is the fact that she's wearing what appears to be some sort of corset. It's like a sleeveless top, and it's like a corset. It's a black corset that's kind of just like shaping her in. And so it's kind of interesting because it does and this feels so creepy because she's 12 years old, and the fact that, she's dressed like that. I just think that this is a little mature, right, for her age. Now, understandably, the Kardashians have a very unique way of dressing themselves that's very revealing, shall we say. And they started very young. Kylie Jenner started very young. I believe she was getting lip injections at like 16, 17 years old. So, but to me, and North just doesn't look 12 years old in this picture. She looks like she could very easily be 16, 17, even 18 years old. To me, this is not the most appropriate attire for a 12-year-old. That dress, like when Elsie was talking about hoochie daddy shorts. This mini skirt that she's wearing feels shorter than my hoochie daddy shorts that I wear to the gym. It just, I have to agree with the internet on this one. It feels wildly inappropriate, and it's weird to talk about. I get it, a young girl's body and, her form of expression, but also, there was that song that Kanye wrote. Don't you grow up in a hurry, your mama be worried. Heroes of the night. Don't you grow up in a... Oh, Violent Crimes. It was by Kanye West. I actually liked that song. This was from a few years ago. This was back in 2018 on his Yay album. I think that was the one with like the blue Montana mountains or something. But yeah, he's like, don't you grow up in your hurry. Your mama be worried. It was all part of the story. Even the scary nights. Thank you for all of the glory. You'll be remembered. Thank you for all of the heroes of the night. And then he's like, blanks is savage. Blanks is monsters. Blanks is pimps. Blanks is players. Till they have daughters. Now they're precautious. Father, forgive me. I'm scared of the karma. Because I see women as something to nurture, not something to conquer. I hope she like Nikki. I'll make her a monster, not having menages. I'm just been silly. I answered the door like Will Smith and Martin. Guys, do we have a problem? Matter of fact, Marlon, this ain't Meet the Fockers. I'll beat his butt. I'll beat his ass. Pray I beat the charges. No, daddy don't play. Not when it comes to their daughters. Don't do no yoga. Don't do Pilates. Just play piano and stick to karate. I pray that your body's draped more like mine and not like your mommy's. Just being salty, but guys is nuts. I am a guy. I know what they want. I pray that they don't get it all at once. Curves under your dress. I know it's pervs all over the net. All in the comments. You want to vomit. That's your baby. You love her to death. Now she's cutting class and hanging with friends. You're breaking a glass and say it again. She can't comprehend the danger she's in. If you whoop her butt, she'll move in with him. Then he whoop her butt. You go through it again. But how you the devil rebuking the sin? Let's pray we can put this behind us. Remember, I swear these times are the wildest. She's got the scars, the severe reminders. Yesterday is yet the moment is silence. Next she'll be off to college and then to the altar. Because she knows that guys is savage, guys is monsters, guys is pimps, guys is players, till guys have daughters. Guys is pimps, guys is players, till guys have daughters. And then it's, don't you grow up in a hurry. Your mama be worried. It was a part of the story. Even the scary nights. Thank you for all of the glory. You'll be remembered. Thank you for all of the heroes of the night. Thank you for coming to my poetry club. So that was Kanye West's song. This was from 2018. So this is what, 5, 6, 7 years ago when North was a lot younger. And he's talking about like her growing up and, pervs on the internet and guys, they disrespect women until they have a daughter and then that kind of changes them. And he's worried about North and he's saying, I want you to play piano. Don't do Pilates. I hope your body's built like me and not like your mommy's. So now seeing Kanye less in the picture, and listen, rightfully so, right? I know he has his documentary coming out, but like rightfully so, Kanye West is on his own trajectory and his own downward spiral. But it is just kind of tough to see, how this is kind of all played out. And Kim, I mean, I understand allowing your kids. I'm not a parent, not yet at least. But to me, this doesn't seem like a choice I would make. As a parent, I'll let you guys weigh in on the comments and in the live chat and how you're feeling about this. But yeah, Kim's under fire. People are not happy with her. But on that note, we do have a very special guest on today's show. That's our hot headlines for today. We do have a very special guest from Vanderpump Rules, and that is Ariana Madix's brother, Jeremy Madix, is joining me in studio. We talk about the Valley. He has a lot of choice words for Janet. He does not like Janet, and he talks about Janet because he's, I guess, still friends with everybody on the Valley. We just don't really see him. I mean, he's kind of always been around. Remember when Scheana and Ariana had their falling out? He was there with Scheana, and Scheana was posting about him and congratulating him on his engagement. And at that time, there were rumors that he and Ariana were not in a good place, and they were fighting. And that's when she was that was right after Scandival. He talks about that. He says that Scheana he feels like Scheana was using him to get back at Ariana. He talks about Sheena's book. He talks about the Valley cast and Janet and Jason coming after Danny and Nia because he knows them. He talks about Jax and Jax's journey. We talk about Vanderpump Rules. I think we chatted about Billy Lee. He talks about his engagement, where he's at with Ariana today, where their relationship stands. And I even asked him, I think at one point, I was like, do you think like the audience is right, like about judging your sister? Like, do you think she deserved, or not deserved, but are you surprised by what happened with Tom Sandoval, given how she met him and how that played on the show and all the criticism that's coming from the audience? So we have a lot of good content that we dive into for Vanderpump fans and those of you watching The Valley right now. So on that note, let's play our interview with Jeremy Madix from Vanderpump Rules. Lots to get into, but very quickly, let's first give a shout out to this week's sponsor, which is DraftKings. DraftKings Casino has your playbook for gaming action all season long. Play thousands of popular slots for a shot at jackpots. Over 400 million has already been awarded. New players get 500 spins on Huff N' More Puff over 10 days. Download the app, use code NOFILTER, and claim your spins after your first $5 wager. Get in the game with DraftKings Casino, home of the largest jackpot win in online casino history. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends October 5th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, today we have a fun throwback in studio, back to the OG Vanderpump Rules days. You'll remember him stirring up some of the drama at SUR. Please welcome Jeremy Madix.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. It's refreshing. Feels good to be back.
Yeah. We've gotten a little break from you since being on Vanderpump Rules. What have you been up to since the show?
I've been quite busy. So I recently, well, not so much recently, but I have a hospitality bar and restaurant consulting company. So I've been working long hours, 50 plus hours a week. I want to say I feel maybe the most successful I've been in my life, but kind of helping, failing bars and restaurants turn a profit, and or helping restaurants that are doing well grow to that next place that don't necessarily know how. So that's keeping me busy. Obviously hanging out with, the same group of friends that I've been hanging out with. I guess you could just say maybe I've just been keeping a lower profile since you guys have seen me last. But yeah, I've been spending time with those people. Kristen, Luke, they just had a baby, which is super exciting.
Are you still close with all of them, or who from the cast would you say that you're still in touch with?
Well, I'm super close with Luke and Kristen. My fiance was at their baby shower, close with, Bucco and Nia and Jax, Brittany, friends with Jesse, Zack.
Yeah.
Zack Wickham's a good friend of mine.
I'm not hearing Janet.
No, definitely not.
You're not friends with Janet?
So there's kind of a lot of history there with Janet and I. I just kind of watched her grow into where she's at now. So I see through a lot of in between the lines, I guess you could say.
Are you watching The Valley?
Yeah. I think it's so funny because I'll watch and I'll kind of hear someone like Janet speak about, maybe an experience or, talk about something that maybe happened. And, I'll be kind of like the dad that's watching football, like kind of yelling at the TV saying that's not really how that went down, but sure, you know.
That seemed to be the allegation that everybody on the cast made against her, is that she wasn't the same person prior to the show. Specifically, Kristen and Nia, brought that up at the reunion, that Janet's kind of changed since being on the show.
Well, I think it's kind of it's a little performative in a way and fake. I also think too that leading up to now, she hadn't fully gotten what she wanted, right? Which was kind of this spotlight or this shot at I mean, she moved out here to kind of pursue what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
Which you got to hand it to her. I mean, all the respect in the world. You got the bag, So
you think she's deliberately trying to make moments on the show?
Yeah, totally. I think what my thoughts are is like up until now, she's kind of needed to be everybody's friend, because why close any type of doors? I think she just wanted to increase her chances at opportunity, and now that she's kind of gotten what she wanted, she can kind of let her true colors show.
Yeah.
And I think too, like our fans see right through that stuff. You can't. There's nothing our fans won't figure out, right?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been odd to me that I see it and they see it, and why it's taken so long for like our friend group to come around and start to see it, because it's been kind of that way for a long time. I mean, there was moments where even her and Scheana had falling out back in the day. And
well, people think that she intentionally pursued a friendship with Scheana in order to get on Vanderpump Rules. What do you remember of her integration into the group?
So that's true, but the story as I remember it is that Janet kind of knew that Scheana was going to be at a certain event. I want to say it was something at the Mondrian at Sky Bar. And Janet kind of showed up there, made friends with Scheana, and then, Scheana kind of started bringing her around. That's when, Janet and I started hanging out. And then I think it kind of progressed from there. So it went, like her and Scheana had this light friendship. Janet and I started kind of hanging out a lot, and that led to being around the people that I was around, which was like James and Tom, and then from Tom to Ariana, and then from Ariana to, Kristen, from Kristen to Stassi, to then, you know what I mean? And it kind of grew into this, and then now it's her and Brittany are the closest. So I think it's, I don't know, pretty obvious to me, but it doesn't seem to be that obvious to everybody else.
Yeah. What did you think about the rumors of Lala and Scheana joining the Valley? Could you see them actually joining, considering I know fans have kind of had a little heat for them?
Yeah, I could see them joining, definitely. Obviously, they've been part of this group for a long time. It's just kind of a different side of the group that maybe people didn't know existed until the Valley aired, right? But a lot of these people have been around for quite a while, like Jesse and Michelle.
Yeah. I mean, people are now going through old episodes of Vanderpump Rules and seeing some of them in the background of certain parties or Scheana's wedding. I mean, I think there's a viral clip on TikTok of Janet like ironing Scheana's clothes in the bag.
Man. So yeah, I think it was kind of, that's so funny that you say that, because those were the kinds of things that it's like, you're doing everything to be everywhere at all the time. It's like, I used to ask myself all the time, like, don't these people have a job? Like, how are you managing to be at every event all the time? It's
LA. Everybody's a bartender or an Uber driver.
Man, it's just something I couldn't keep up with. I think there's a lot of things too, like back in the, Vanderpump Rules days, a lot of things that I couldn't make it to because I prioritized a paycheck over,
Camera
being
time.
somewhere to earn camera time, which, it has its trade-offs, right? But I've always kind of been like super hardworking and motivated to kind of prioritize my responsibilities rather than, clout chasing, I guess you could say. So
would you ever consider joining the Valley, considering you are kind of close to everybody and everyone, you're like in that circle?
Yeah,
we haven't seen you on the show yet, but is that something you would even consider doing?
I would consider it for sure. I think it would be fun to do. I have, I think I hold a lot of truth to a lot of situations that maybe might be a little shocking to viewers. So I would definitely consider it. I mean, I've been part of this group for almost a decade now, personally, like super close, but I date as far back as like season 3 of Vanderpump Rules when Scheana was getting married to Shay. They had their bachelorette party down in Miami, and I was living in Tampa at the time, so I drove from Tampa to Miami to obviously hang out with my sister because she was in town, and I didn't get to see her very often because she was busy working out here in LA. But it was like super fun. That's when I met everybody. I met, Jax, both Toms, James, Kristen. they were, that's when James, I believe, was still dating Kristen and having this very like tumultuous relationship. So, yeah, I mean, I go back. So I've seen kind of a lot of things unfold, and I think I would, if the opportunity ever came, I would totally do it.
Yeah. Now, I feel like one of the bits of criticism Janet's getting right now is her really kind of holding Danny's feet to the fire and kind of also cutting Jax a little more slack, being that, the fans aren't too happy with Jax and they seem to overwhelmingly be supporting Danny. What did you think of their take on that?
I feel like maybe it's kind of like beating a dead horse, for lack of a better phrase. I get calling attention to something.
Yeah.
But making it your whole personality it gets a little irritating. And it kind of just shows that you don't have much else to talk about to continue to, attack one single person. If there's any truth to it, I think it's important to call attention.
Yeah.
But I just don't, knowing Nia and Danny and kind of, they're great parents, they're hardworking, the way they balance time and everything else is just kind of astounding to me, the way that they can juggle all these things. They have all these kids and they have such a great relationship together. In a way I kind of look up to Danny a bit, because he is so good with, kind of communicating with Nia, and he's very patient, and I just don't see the allegations being what everyone's trying to make it out to be.
Right.
He's a godly man,
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem like something that's very accurate. And, I maybe the taking it easier on Jax. I know he's been through a lot, he's having a ton of like mental health struggles, and he's doing everything he can to work on it. And I know that, in the past he's probably said these things, as far as, I think I see a lot of comments about, well, he says this every year or every season of Vanderpump Rules. He's always said, I'm sorry for this and I'm changing. But I think I'm seeing a lot of steps in that direction that maybe I haven't seen from him before, which in a way is change, right? It's different than it was before, which is kind of the definition of change. But I could see maybe they're maybe not going after him as hard because he might be on that breaking point. But I really don't know. I think it's good that he's taking care of himself and kind of taking care of his mental health. But I don't think that justifies anybody's actions. I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, accountability is the first step, and changed behavior is what's going to have to be proven if he's going to get the audience to come back on his side, because I think they've made it clear that they've seen his pattern, and we'll just have to see if that behavior changes. Now, with the rumors of Scheana and Lala potentially coming on the show, and I know you said you would join the show, would you still join the show if Scheana was on the show? I feel like she's taken some shots at you lately.
A little bit. I believe she referred to me as problematic as to why I wasn't invited to.
Because you guys were close. She was at your engagement, and it kind of there was a bit of a disconnect between.
And that's why that hurt my feelings, is because and made me kind of ask some questions. Scheana and I have always been close. She's always been like another sister to me. She was always really good friends with Ariana.
Yeah.
I think, I'm close with her family, her mom, her dad, her sister. I got close with Brock. So when she, kind of said that I was problematic, it made me kind of ask the question, like, were you using me to hurt Ariana this whole time? Because I know you guys were kind of having a moment there. Did you kind of pull me in closer in that time to sort of nudge her in a way?
Add some salt to the wound, yeah.
Right, add some salt to the wound. That's a great way to put it. And, that her saying that kind of raised a red flag and rubbed me the wrong way.
Was there something specific that she was referring to?
I don't know. I think it was maybe a comment that I made online, sort of agreeing with Kristen and the fans about Janet being a fan and, social climbing and kind of using everybody for a spotlight. I think that's kind of what triggered that response. And I know she sort of said she's trying to be more of like a girl's girl, but it's a little late. You had your moment to do that in season 11 when, we could have all rallied around my sister and really made this like a girls movement. But instead, we wanted to shift the blame or kind of be a apologist, right? And I just don't think that was maybe the right move. But I've always loved Scheana. I think that she's, she means well. But it's moments like that make me kind of side eye.
Yeah. Did you read her book?
I've read and heard some segments. Yeah.
The TikTok seems to be having a lot of fun with it.
TikTok's having a lot of fun. It's kind of, I enjoy those for sure.
Yeah.
People just listening to little segments from the book and yeah, those make me laugh, definitely. And you gotta be able to laugh at that kind of stuff. And I think overall it's good, right? I mean, it's putting free publicity on the book.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, and all these people that think that they're trolling her on TikTok are having to download the book and purchase it, and it's just, I think it's more promo for her.
Right.
What did you think when you heard about the affair with Brock?
I thought it was...
Did you know about that beforehand?
I did not. No, I did not. No one told me, and I think may have happened. I honestly do not know. I just think that the timing of going public with it seemed a little convenient.
Yeah.
It to me kind of felt like maybe it was something that was brought up to sell more copies. Like, if you want to hear more about this, then you can read it in my book type thing.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate if it is true, but seems like they're working through it. And
how do you feel about the fan feedback about her choosing to reveal the affair in the book but hiding it from the cameras, considering how much heat your sister got for kind of setting boundaries with Sandoval in their last season?
Yeah, and I know she had said, well, she didn't want to steal Ariana's moment, and it's like, that's not a moment, that's traumatic.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to maybe actually have someone to share that experience with at that time, rather than feel kind of isolated, right? It was like all eyes on Ariana. What is she going to do? What is she going to say? How is she going to handle this? It would have been maybe, even if it was off camera or personal or like between just them two and it never even went public, it would have maybe been nice to kind of rally around Ariana and make her feel like she wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And because that was a very tough time for her, for sure, especially at the level that it happened at, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, someone in middle America which no excuses, but hers was at a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It went completely public and viral, and to have that much attention called to an affair it can't be easy, right?
Right.
So it would have been nice for her to kind of say something, but maybe it just wasn't her moment. Maybe the timing was off. You never really know where someone was mentally when these things happen.
Do you think your sister made a mistake in choosing to date Sandoval, considering how their relationship started?
Well, given everything that we know now, yeah, for sure. Maybe then he seemed at face value, he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really caring, big heart. I just think when you make a commitment to somebody, I think you got to kind of do everything you can to make that work.
Yeah.
And communication is a big point. I mean, it's tough, it's tough to say. It definitely didn't end well, and I couldn't despise him more for that,
Yeah.
And a lot of people make mistakes, and maybe it did get blown out of proportion, but at the end of the day, that's my sister, right? Like, come on, what are we doing?
How are you guys doing now, you and Ariana?
We're doing great. We're trying to figure out a good time for us to like go get lunch and kind of hang out. She's been super busy. She's killing it. She's doing Love Island and traveling a lot. She's got all these really cool opportunities. I'm super proud of her. But yeah, I mean, we're doing really well. My mom recently had a kind of she broke her femur, right? So she's been going through kind of rehabilitating that and getting back on her feet. And I think through that, it's been kind of like it's put a damper on her spirits, and she's, feeling kind of emotional and alone. So my sister and I have kind of come together to rally around my mom and kind of lift her up a bit. And through that, we've grown closer. I know there for a while, people would consider it a falling out, but at the end of the day, she's my sister, like my blood sister. I don't think you could ever truly have a falling out with family, right? It will always be there for each other, but
you have moments.
Yeah, we have moments, and we've since, kind of made amends, and I think we're in a good place. I definitely was going through something personally and maybe said some things that I maybe shouldn't have, or done some things that I maybe shouldn't have. But I love my sister very much, and I know she loves me, and we'll be there for each other no matter what, always, through thick and thin. And I'm her little brother, I think that's how she'll always see me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've kind of like tried to learn, try to see things from her side, whether it's her protecting me or whatever it might be. But we're in a good place, and I'm looking forward to having lunch with her and hanging out more, and having her at, my wedding and all these things, and doing all the big family stuff, and maybe make her an aunt one of these days. But we're good. I'm happy for her, and she's doing really well. And
she just got to host the Love Island reunion with Andy.
That's iconic, right? Like, she's really just, and she's worked very hard for it.
Right.
It's not just like.
Yeah, what's your pushback to people that say, oh, she just got all of this because she got cheated on?
I think that's kind of a load of crap, in a way that, like, maybe opportunities came across her desk in a way that never did before, but it really comes down to how do you treat and what do you do with those opportunities?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She could have still said, no, I'm not ready for that. Or I just think that there's a lot of, like, untruthfulness to that. It just doesn't seem genuine. You know, you could still, oh yeah, I'm meeting with, the producers for Love Island. Well, they could have not liked her, right? Like, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just like, oh, you got cheated on. Here's a, prime spot on Broadway. She still had to go through the process. Things weren't just handed to her. Life doesn't work like that.
I didn't even realize until seeing a lot of old Vanderpump clips circulate on TikTok that, like, she actually does have a very natural, great singing voice. Like, she's a performer. Being on stage is something that's not new for her. Mm-hmm. Dancing's not new for her. All of the things that she is doing and incorporating now are things that have been part of, her career for a long time.
Yeah, she's been doing theater and dance since before I was born. You know, like, we have pictures of her as a toddler in, like, dance attire, so she's not new to it. And I think overall, that's always what she wanted. She wanted to be more on the performative side, or the, kind of the theatrical side, rather than the reality TV side,
And how is your relationship? How is your engagement to Rachel?
It's been fantastic. I mean, obviously, a lot of people know that, we spent a little after party time at Scheana's house, popped some champagne to celebrate. But a lot of people don't know that Jax and Brittany actually helped plan kind of the surprise engagement at Moon Shadows in Malibu. So that's where Rachel and I had our first date, once upon a time. And that's actually coincidentally where Jax and Brittany do brunch for Easter every year. So we got invited to go do brunch, and I kind of used that as a cloaking device to sort of surprise Rachel with the engagement. And it was super sweet of them, because I think this was still at a time where Jax and Brittany were, going their separate ways. They were separating, and they kind of came together to give Rachel and I that special moment. And I thought that was really sweet of the both of them to kind of, put their differences aside for the day, go out for Easter brunch at Moon Shadows. And, we drove up. It was such a funny story, because we drove up, and as we're driving up, it's a monsoon outside. Like, we're driving from West Hollywood to Malibu, and it's just monsooning. And luckily when we got there, the sun was out, it was all good. But she wanted to turn around. And I was like, we're not turning around. Like, we're going. We already told him we're going. We're
committed.
Going. We were committed. And I had to figure out, like, I just kind of had to make it happen, you know? Like, I couldn't lean into, normally I'd be like, I love you so much. Yeah, let's turn around. Whatever you want to do. If this isn't how you want to spend your day, like,
yeah,
I'm fine with that. You know, if whatever makes you happy, I want you to have a nice Easter. But this time was very much like, no, we have to go.
Yeah.
There's too much I've already put all these plans in place that you don't know about, of course. So we went and we had brunch, and I ended up proposing out on the dock there at Moon Shadows, which had been closed down because of the rain, but the sun had come out. So, you know, we all four of us went out there, and I think I'd kind of mentioned to like maybe one of the floor managers that helped us kind of allow us to go out there because there was nobody out there. So that was really nice and really sweet of Jax and Brittany to kind of come together for us on that date. But she's wonderful. She's really helped me grow into kind of a better man. You know, I think Rachel is a very sweet girl, kind-hearted, cares a lot. Definitely the one. I wouldn't trade her for the world. She understands me better than anybody. And she's, you know, I don't want to say she's all the way to blame for this, you know, new me, but she's definitely helped me kind of do everything I can every day to be a better person, to, you know, take care of not just myself and my responsibilities, but also her and our two dogs and our household. And, you know, I'm really thankful to her for how far I've come in the last, you know, however many years. You know, we were friends for a while before we started dating, and she's always just kind of been a blessing.
Is there a wedding date on the books?
We're possibly thinking maybe like end of the year, winter wedding.
Okay.
You know, maybe in the snow, white wedding, December.
That would be nice.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
I think, you know, that's maybe kind of always been like a dream of hers. I think it would be fun. And also our numbers are like 5s, 2s, and 1s. So that also played a part in picking that time of the year.
Okay.
So yeah, things have been great with that. And it was really funny how we met was a long time ago. It was at an event and or something that we went to after an event, and Randall had got us a table at Avenue.
Emmett?
Yeah, to throw an old name in there. This is obviously when him and Lala were not at odds. But anyway, he had gotten a table, and the table that he had gotten was normally the table that Rachel and her friends usually got, because she was in nightlife journalism, so she was friends with like a lot of promoters and things like that. So they did a little walk around to see who took their table at the Avenue that night, and her and I just kind of locked eyes, and you know, a little while later we, you know, started messaging and chatting, and I just think it was funny that we, you know, the reason we met is kind of because Randall decided to buy that table out from under him that night.
That's funny.
So thanks Randall.
Well, you have Randall and Jax to thank.
Oh my God, dude. Isn't that sound terrible?
But let's take it back to Vanderpump, because that's kind of what started everybody's careers.
Yeah, that's true.
What was it like now that the show's kind of done? Are you going to watch the reboot, actually?
I think I might try to catch a few episodes and see how I like it. I still know a couple of the people that are there and are going to be appearing on the reboot. So, like, I was always really good friends with Demi, who is going to be on the reboot. I don't know if Peter has any involvement, but, you know, I worked alongside Peter for a long time, you know. So I guess we'll see how it goes. I guess the only thing I could advise is maybe just be yourself and lean into that, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that's become tougher with people that now join reality TV that don't have that history. Like, I feel like what made the original Vanderpump so good is they didn't really know what to expect. They didn't really know the show that they were making. They were just kind of fully organically themselves, which is why I think so many people love Dodie so much.
Totally.
Because she, to this day, does not care. She will just be herself 100% unapologetically. So much so that she doesn't even care to do all the heavy glam that you see on like Housewives or other shows. And I think there's just that level of authenticity that the OGs had that, you know, I hope we can still stick to moving into a new era of Vanderpump. What was it like filming that show, though? I feel like it was so new, kind of like Jersey Shore, right? Like, none of them really knew what they were doing. The first few seasons, as it was gaining popularity, nobody knew how to navigate that. It was kind of just you're living the experience organically in the moment.
Yeah, it's and that's, you couldn't be more right, because that's kind of how it feels too. Like, when I first started filming, it was challenging for me because I was, you know, my sister's brother, but I was still new and wasn't super close to all the cast. So trying to like include myself in conversations or have something relevant to say, you know, it was like almost a new kid on campus. Like, you don't really know where to insert yourself because you don't know these people well enough yet to, you don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, even though that's kind of like what we're here to do. So it's definitely got that, you know, how do we navigate it? And you could see like some of the people that were on longer started to learn how to navigate it. And I think for me, just it was a little tougher and a little more challenging. But I feel like as I've grown closer to these people, it's really just comes more natural, right? It's just kind of like how me and you are here sitting talking right now. Just doing that, but with cameras, you learn to kind of not even see them.
Yeah.
To where you're almost like, I hope, you know, what did I, you know,
what did I do?
What did I do? What did I say? And you're not going to know
yeah.
until they decide to edit it and put it out on the air. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting experience. And I think if I could go back and do it all over again, I totally would. I would just hope that I hold the knowledge and the kind of the relationships that I hold now and kind of take that back with me so that I could be a little more involved. So yeah, it's different when you first get thrown into it. And I felt like that's kind of what it was too, is like I got thrown into the pond and they told me to swim without kind of any coaching on how to like handle it, you know, kind of the same way that they were when they first started filming seasons 1, 2, 3 and all that. But yeah, the organic and the you know, kind of it being so genuine at the time is really what made it what it was. You know, they weren't trying to fill any shoes. They were the shoes.
Yeah.
So, and we got to watch them walk all the way to run to sprint. And I think you're right. Now people try to create reality TV trying to fill the shoes that went before them instead of just sticking to why we're interested in you guys in the first place type of thing. You know what I mean? We're here for a reason. It's because we like what you have to offer. We don't need to like pretend.
Do you feel like in the edit that there was anything that was ever misconstrued that you wish would have been shown differently?
Yeah, I think, you know, when I first started out, I was a lot younger. I was looking to kind of some of the older castmates to kind of like guide me and you know, tell me how to do things or what to do. And I feel like maybe there were a few moments where I listened maybe to the wrong advice. But I feel like overall I would do it the same way. I just think that there were a couple times that I, you know, was featured on the show that maybe weren't super truthful. You know, I kind of caught a bad rap. There was that moment when I first, you know, got into doing the show, and you know, I was going to take Billy Lee out on a date, and you know, I kind of got attacked, which started this whole thing about, you know, me being like creepy or whatever word it was that Stassi used, which she's since, you know, and this was, I say since, but this was years ago that she came out and said, you know, like he's cool, like we're good, you know, we've grown to kind of like.
So did you guys actually date?
You could say that. Yeah, I feel like there was a moment where.
Well, how would you define date?
Well, I guess any moment where you take someone out and treat them to dinner is kind of a date, right? But I think there was a moment where Billy Lee was new to the show, and I guess I somewhat was too, in a way. And they wanted to kind of film her going on like a first date, but she was reluctant to do that with someone that, maybe she truly like had deep interest in. She didn't want to have that like first date on camera. And
I mean, it's awkward and intimidating, and you can't really be yourself.
And imagine like someone who's not in this scene at all coming into that, right? And I kind of just was like, you know what, we're really good friends. Like, I just wanted to step up, and I said, we're great friends. I think it'll be super fun. Like, you and I should just do it. Yeah. And I think that's kind of just how that unfolded, and we had a really good time.
And are you still close with Billy?
No, I can't, honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time I talked to her. I think what kind of rubbed me the wrong way was how she sided with Tom after the whole Ariana thing, the scandal of it all. Obviously, there were sides that needed to be chosen, and I just wasn't on that side. And knowing her, I know she had maybe more of a deeper thought process behind that. It wasn't so surface level. It was more like just probably overall trying to do the right thing, I think, maybe in her mind. Yeah. But when all that happened, that's kind of the last time feel like maybe I saw her maybe a few months before that at their house during a barbecue or something. Yeah. But
I mean, that friendship crashed and burned.
It did. It really did. Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was kind of fun to watch unfold.
It was messy, all right.
It was messy.
Was he on Trader? He was somewhere, and then Victoria and her were going back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
That was crazy.
What even was that,
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's go into imaginary worlds. Is there a Bravo bar that you feel like you would like to work at and maybe create a new Vanderpump Rules style show?
Well, now that Jax's is gone, R.I.P.
R.I.P. And Brit's never materialized.
No, cue the tiny violin, Well, I mean, I know that what's his name, Carl Radke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's opening a soft bar in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's at the stage of needing consulting, but I feel like he's got a pretty cool concept going there.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty fun and exciting, and I love to see stuff like that because it's the industry that I'm in. So I get super excited when people start talking about drink recipes and, but there's just so much more to it when it comes down to the business side.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be costed, and, you're got to make sure your margins are there, and then you got to account for labor and all the boring stuff, right? It's all fun until you're in the red.
Yeah.
But that, and then I know, and I don't know if this would ever be something that's on screen, but Jeremiah Smith recently started, and he's obviously, for those who don't know, is one of the producers of, many shows, The Valley, Vanderpump Rules, Summer House, all these things that he's done. He's opening a magical tiki bar, which is on the water on like a pontoon boat. So I think that's something that I'd be super excited to, experience.
Yeah.
So it's basically, he's a magician who also does magic at the Magic Castle, but he's doing it magic and tiki drinks on a pontoon boat out in the marina at Marina Del Rey. So that's something that I'm super excited about because I just love tiki. It's if there was any type of cocktail that I feel like is the most creative, it would be like tiki style.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That actually sounds fun.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun! I can't wait. Like I feel like I kind of annoy him with my how much excitement I get when we start talking. So,
yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to see that come to like full fruition. I know he's done a couple like friends and family events to kind of soft launch, but I know he's waiting on like some like official licensing. It's again the boring stuff, you know, to get it going, and that should happen sometime in September. So I'm super excited to check that out.
All right. Well, I hope we get to see you on The Valley.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little cameo on Vanderpump, this new rebooted next season. But Jeremy, thanks for coming on No Filter.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Being so open.
Of course. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was good to like catch up and kind of, you know, talk about what I've been doing and who I've been doing it with and who I like and who I don't like. And I think that part's been pretty clear. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome, and I appreciate the opportunity, and maybe we'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe once you secure a spot on TV again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. One could only hope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zack.